What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoFi. Give you a quick overview of some of the data points, what moved it today, and go over everything else that you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So SoFi closed 3.03% in the green. Pretty good day, 14.89 the low. So quick pullback, which was attributed by shorts, but in reality, they didn't do all that much for the rest of the day. 15.48 the high, and kind of low volume, so 32.7 million shares being traded. 46.05 is the average. So in my opinion, I think a lot of big money is just waiting on the sidelines for jobs data coming out this week, and then maybe they'll feel a little bit more comfortable to get in. But no actual news associated to SoFi, no SEC filings, nothing along those lines. But you did have a new analyst rating. Don't know why all these analysts feel justified to give ratings before a earnings, but honestly, it is what it is. Barclays Terry, who has a 63% success rating, did give a $16 price target. So pretty good stuff. Over the last 2 weeks, you've had a 16, 14, 8, and 13. So kind of all over the place. This upcoming earnings definitely will be absolutely key to really push SoFi higher. The only thing that we do generally know going into their earnings is that they did exceed or have exceeded 10 million members, because they did PR, they did an official 8K and everything, which came out on December the 17th. So I don't have it readily in front of me, but I'm sure we can easily calculate how many roughly new members that they did get, which of course from that stage you can kind of take that information, kind of estimate the new products and deposits and everything, so it can give you a little bit of an insight. But generally speaking, I think SoFi's upcoming earnings is going to be fairly good. Shorts though, like I said, they did increase a little bit first thing to bring it down, but other than that, they didn't really do all that much. They increased 39,000 shares by the end of the day. 12.95% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 138.07 million shares. I've only seen this type of circumstance happen one other time that I brought up. I think it was like 2 months ago. And you actually have the cost to borrow average as negative 0.02. So nothing really crazy. The minimum is negative 0.2. So that does mean that there is multiple brokers physically paying people to short SoFi. Again, we don't really know exactly who they are, which brokers are doing that. But with the new SEC transparency rule kicking in sometime in the first half of 2025, we'll have a little bit more insight on who actually is shorting. So we'll have insight on who's shorting, but not necessarily, again, which brokers are doing this. So you can kind of see it right here based on the teal line. So they increased a little bit, which caused it to go down right here. But aside from that, they didn't do jack all. They 10,000 here and there. So very, very quiet stuff. Aside from that, moving over to the options, 21 million in calls, 5.39 million in puts. 45% of all the options being done today were optimistic in nature. And just looking at the dollar value, very similar to Friday. So 26.4 million in total for today, 26.7 on Friday, 60.9 that was on Thursday, and that was SoFi's pullback. You can kind of analyze that as well. Every time SoFi has exceedingly high options premiums and it is selling off, usually the following day it does go up. So that's kind of something that we can kind of keep in mind for the future. But aside from that, of the call options that were purchased today, you see a consensus for it to be now above 18. So it's kind of shifted from the 1750 to 18, so a little bit more optimism for that. Bears are anticipating for it to still be sub roughly 1450. So a lot more upside is anticipated. A lot of big money was getting into SoFi today, so you can tell that based on here. 26.2 million right there, 1.08, 10 million. As I brought up in the past, now SoFi, especially over the last 3 months, it just skyrocketed. Big money just is looking at SoFi so much more, and so now seeing $1 million transactions is kind of just is like, it is what it is. It's just nothing really special now. First thing, you had one big one straight out the gate, 8.93, and most likely a lot of that, especially after hours on Friday as well, both of those are just kind of the market makers covering the in the money options from last week. So that's most likely that occurring. And with it closing at $15.23, it is trading between this R1 and the pivot. So 1565 is going to be that next strong resistance slash target, and then 1483 is going to be the next strong support, which is very important. I'll go over that in a second. But yeah, honestly, it kind of just traded within this range. It didn't touch either of them. Kind of came close to the pivot point as far as the low right here. But again, it didn't really touch either of them. So just take note of that going forward into the next couple trading days. Tomorrow, as far as data, we have Jolt numbers. So that is estimated to be 7.69 million. So that should be a fun old time. Historically, it's caused a lot of volatility. Last couple, not all that bad. Actually reconfirmed what the market was feeling, and it actually went up higher. So something to keep in mind. That's coming out at 9 a.m. tomorrow. But going over here to the actual chart itself, so right now it is below the super trend, so it kind of broke below that. So that does mean you kind of have a little bit of pressure, downward pressure, and that's from algorithmic trading. But as of right now, though, it is above that ALMA, so that is currently sitting at $14.97. So as of right now, it's kind of showing a little bit more of a wanting to reverse higher and kind of make up for some of the gains. Because if you think about it, it did sell off quite significantly because of those two recent ratings, which I don't know, they don't really seem that legitimate to me. I don't know why someone would kind of estimate that it's going to go down by like 50%. Doesn't logically make sense. But another thing to watch for is that 50-day moving average, and that's currently sitting at 1429. And so with all the volatility this week, if that is broken, then you can kind of anticipate a 15 to 20% pullback if it breaks that, again, 50-day moving average. But all in all, it looks like SoFi does generally want to move higher. Just is going to come down to the data points that is coming out this week. So you have the Jolt numbers, and then also on Wednesday, FOMC minutes, Friday, non-farm payroll, and then unemployment. So it should be a fun old time. So let me know your thoughts. Where do you see things going by the end of the week? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And then one final thing, pop over to my Patreon and give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolute bangers. So pop over there and take a look. Link in the description below and the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.